A fantastic looking field of 28 super late model competitors. Race number 2 of the 2012 racing campaign for the ARCA CRA Super Series at Toledo Speedway. Terry Fisher Jr. in the 81 will go from the pole. On the outside of him, it'll be the 23 of Eddie Van Meter. Johnny Van Dorn in the 61, and Chad Finley will go from row 2. Brian Campbell set a new track record in qualifying. He will go from the 5th spot on the invert to his outside. Scott Hance in the 72. Alec Carl in the 5C. Nick Galata, the 131. Damon Eckhoff, the 15. Rick Turner, the 26. Those are the front 10 starters for today's 7-Up 100 for the ARCA CRA Super Series. Race number 2 for the 2012 ARCA CRA Super Series Super Late Model Campaign. Field slowly works down the back straightaway, slowly building speed. And here we go for 100 laps at Toledo Speedway. We're green. Safely through the first couple of corners. Battle is for the 3 spot. Chad Finley hanging strong on the outside of Johnny Van Dorn. Yellow flag gonna come out. Problems for Jason Deach in car number 7 over in turn number 2. The window wax forward, car number 7 for Edgerton, Ohio driver Jason Deach has problems. Appears to be a little bit of damage to the left front of that machine. Yellow flag out. 12 laps complete, 88 circuits to go. 12 laps in, 88 laps to go. Johnny Van Dorn and Brian Campbell, your front 2 cars. A couple of West Michigan drivers looking to reign supreme here in Ohio this Sunday afternoon. Eddie Van Meter will restart 3rd. Terry Fisher Jr. led the early laps, will restart 4th. Chad Finley, the top 5. We come back to green, 88 laps to go. Down the back straightaway they work. Campbell noses ahead just a little bit. Van Dorn still holding pretty strong on the bottom, but Campbell inches out just ever so slightly into the race lead. Brian Campbell had a couple of victories last year on the CRA Super Series Tour as Van Dorn comes back into the race lead. Campbell had victories at Fairfield Speedway in May, and again a couple of weeks after that at Lucas Oil Raceway at Indianapolis. 15th Brayton, 16th Jack, Morrissey 17th, Leslie 18th, Robinson 19th. Johnny Jacobs rounds out the top 20, and problems on the front stretch. Billy Leslie in the 18 and the 41 of Brent Jack get together. Some damage done to the 18 of Leslie. Doesn't look like too much damage done to the 41 of Jack. Yellow flag out, 31 laps in. Field builds speed through corners 3 and 4. Back to green, 31 in, 69 to go. He takes his car pit side. And now we're going to have a caution. Yellow flag on the speedway. Possibly some liquid or debris from the 81 car of Fisher. And with that, the yellow flag is going to come out. 60 laps complete, 40 laps to go, as it's been an impressive run so far by the front two cars of Johnny Van Dorn and Brian Campbell as they continue to lead. Front four cars, all from the state of Michigan. Johnny Van Dorn, Brian Campbell, Alec Carl, Chad Finley. Up front, fifth, Scott Hance. Sixth is Boris Yurkovic as we come back to green. A big jump on that restart by Van Dorn. Green flag in the air. Scott Hansen, the 72, takes a look to the inside at Chad Finley for the number 4 spot. Into fourth. Yurkovic going to take a look to the inside of Finley for fifth. Last year's Winchester 400 champion. He gets around Chad Finley and put Boris Yurkovic into the top 5. Oh! Brian Campbell moves Johnny Van Dorn just a little bit down the back straightaway. Brian Campbell makes a bid for the race lead and coming to lap 63, your quick qualifier, Brian Campbell, your new race leader. Alec Carl in the 5, sits in the number 3 spot. Oh, big trouble right there for the 139 of Andrew Morrissey as he gets into the back of Kenzie Rustin. Rustin loops it around, and the yellow flag is going to come out with 21 laps to go. A tough break for the El Reno, Oklahoma. Whoa, problems for Hance off the second corner. Scott Hance spins it around, as well as the 139 of Andrew Morrissey. A couple of cars getting crossed up down the back straightaway. Hance spun, and then Morrissey spun as well to evade the accident. But nonetheless, caution flag comes out 82 laps in. We come back to green in the 7-up 100. Once again, Brian Campbell back to the race lead. Van Dorn drops back into second. Alec Carl looking to get around the 53 Yurkovic as we see Andrew Morrissey here on the front stretch getting all kinds of crossed up. Morrissey in the 139 belts the outside wall pretty good. Morrissey going to keep the car going though. Pretty good off of the 4th corner. Meanwhile, Kenzie Rustin has battled her way back into the number 7 position as she gets around Nate Caruth. And now a couple of cars spin over in corner number 3 and 4. It's the 65 of Johnny Jenkins and the 41 of Brent Jack. Caution going to come back out. Didn't quite see what the initial contact was, but nonetheless, Johnny Jenkins and Brent Jack bring back out the yellow. 84 laps complete. Toledo Speedway, ARCA 7-up pace car has moved to the infield. The field picks up speed. Here we go, back to green, final 16 circuits. One car spins it around here on the infield. Spins it around. Leaders have to make quick action to get around the outside of them. But now we got a couple of cars spun around to the backstretch. Andrew Morrissey and Terry Fisher Jr. get involved in another accident. Yellow flag out once again. Just 10 circuits remaining in the 7-up 100. Brian Campbell and Johnny Van Dorn have had the dominant cars here this afternoon. They'll come back to green and settle it here at Toledo. Back to green off of 4, and we got problems again. Oh, we're gonna stack them up. Well, one car upside down. It's the 42 of Chad Finley. Kenzie Rustin got bobbled a little bit, and as she gets turned around, Chad Finley gets the 90 car of Steve Vore stuck up behind him. And with that, Chad Finley ends up on his roof. Red flag is going to come out immediately on this one. 7 up 100 as we are set to run the final 11 laps. A lot of good cars got caught up in that accident. Campbell, Van Dorn, Jurkovic, Carl, and Kasten, the front five. Brett Robinson's worked his way up to 6th. As we come back to green, 89 in, 11 to go. Back to action in the 7 up 100. The front two cars that have been dominant all day shoot back out in front by a couple of car lengths. Van Dorn battling in the outside of Campbell. Van Dorn in the 61 trying to battle back to the inside as they work down the back stretch. Yellow going to come out. 2 laps to go. The caution comes out for the 84 of Jay Newick. Cutlerville, Michigan driver Jay Newick loses it down in corner number 4. Yellow flag out. Just going to be a green-white checkered to settle this one here at Toledo. 2 laps to go at the Toledo Speedway for the ARCA CRA Super Series. A green-white checkered to settle this one. Brian Campbell and Johnny Van Dorn, the front two, back to green to settle it at Toledo. Van Dorn fighting back on the outside of Campbell. Campbell battling back on the inside. They touch once, twice. Wow, a couple of cars. Big trouble over in corner number 4. Johnny Jenkins, as the driver's side of that race car absolutely destroyed. Lancaster, Ohio's Johnny Jenkins gets crossed up and gets T-boned by the 6 of Brandon Hermiller. Brian Campbell, Johnny Van Dorn, 2 laps to go at Toledo Speedway. Let's try it again. Two laps to settle it in the 7 up 100. Campbell throws the block on Van Dorn. Here comes Boris Jurkovic to the inside of Van Dorn for 2nd. Coming to the white flag. 1 lap to go. Battle for 2nd continues. Jurkovic clears him, coming to the checkered flag. Brian Campbell wins the 7 up 100 at Toledo Speedway. Boris Jurkovic 2nd, 3rd spot to Johnny Van Dorn, 4th to Alec Carl, and a good run for Becca Kasten as she'll round out the top 5 in today's 7 up 100. 2nd race of the 2012 campaign for the ARCA CRA Super Series here at Toledo Speedway.